give a warm welcome to Orna and Ronen Neutra.
Our son Omer decided to leave his comfortable life behind, and after much deliberation to join the IDF and become a lone soldier, away from his family, away from his home. As a family, this move wasn't easy. Under regular circumstance, if we had lived in Israel, we'd be waiting for Omer when he came home every few weeks with his favorite meal, helping him with his dirty laundry, and supporting him through the difficult stages of training. But we were far, here in the United States most of the time, and he managed. He was very independent, most of the time minimizing his needs. He leaned on family, and mainly on his community of friends. Newly founded relationships that he developed, which came to mean a lot to him in his new life in Israel. We spoke daily whenever he could. It was the highlight of our day. We made sure to travel and spend time in Israel with him when he was on breaks, and to bring him home to Long Island when he could get away.
I keep thinking to myself, how is Omer experiencing all this? Everything that is happening? What has been going through? What he would be sharing with us if he could speak about the events of October 7th and every day since. Omer would say, in the early morning hours of October 7th, just like any other morning, I gathered my team. We followed our morning routine. We jumped into the tanks and got ready for sunrise. This morning was very different. Suddenly, a barrage of missiles came flying through the skies, falling all over us. We began receiving messages that there was a possible breach of the border fence with Gaza. There was no time. I quickly started giving instructions. Our job was to protect the nearby kibbutzim. We rushed to the border with our 2 tanks and a small Golani infantry unit. Shortly after we reached the fence, we were ambushed by hundreds and hundreds of Hamas-ISIS terrorists, well-trained, waiting for us, shooting at our tank, multiple RPGs and explosives. My tank slowed down. We were experiencing a failure. The brakes were jammed, and we could only advance very slowly. An RPG hit us. Our driver, Shaked Dan, was injured gravely. Our tank was put on fire. I tried to communicate with head command and requested a rescue, but there was no answer. And nobody came. We could hardly breathe. We had no choice. We had to go out or we'll die. Shaked and Oz were killed in this attack. Nimrod Cohen and I were pulled out, half conscious and wounded. We were quickly loaded onto pickup trucks and taken violently into Gaza, where we were separated. I was hurting and wanted to escape. I was tossed into a dark tunnel. I heard shouts in Arabic and was transferred from one tunnel to the other. It was dark, and every day seemed like an eternity. Explosions all over. I'm constantly hungry. I'm constantly thirsty. I want to see the sun. I want to speak. I want to stand. I miss my mom, I miss my dad, I miss my family, I miss my friends. I'm afraid I may die, but I hide it from the other guys surrounding me. I find myself trying to lift the others as I struggle to keep the hope that we will be released one day. I run in my head the events of October 7th time and again. I mourn the murder of my teammates. I wonder what happened to the other tank I sent north. What happened to the Golani team? To the other Golani lone soldier I had grown friendly with, Idan Alexander from Tenafly, New Jersey. 8 months. 8 months. Are they coming to rescue us? Did Israel survive? Are they looking for us? I can remember when I was in elementary school, we prayed daily for the release of another soldier, Gilad Shalit, until one day he was finally brought home. Are they praying for me now?
We all heard yesterday of the miraculous release of the 4 hostages, Noah, Almog, Andre, and Shlomi. Unfortunately, this amazing feat did not come without a price, and at the same time, we mourn the loss of Officer Alnon Zimora, who led this mission. We are at awe with the bravery of the many soldiers fighting this war, many of them brothers in arms to Omer. They share with us how they are all vying for the opportunity to be the releasers of the hostages. They are trained on the ethos of not leaving anyone behind. But we must also acknowledge that most of the remaining 120 hostages will not be released in a military operation, and the only way they can get home is through negotiating with the devil. Last week, President Biden delivered an update on his efforts to secure a deal that would lead to a durable end to the war. The deal on the table would release all the hostages, lead to an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, get more humanitarian assistance into Gaza, and ultimately end the crisis. The president has spent months of intensive diplomacy working this with Israel, Egypt, and Qatar. His message was clear. Hamas needs to take the deal that Israel has offered and is on the table. Here, on this side of the ocean, the Netanyahu deal, as we call it, should be supported by both sides of the aisle, as our hostage release effort should continue to be a full bipartisan effort. Mounting pressure should be placed on Hamas by all the mediators and countries with influence to make Hamas accept the deal.
By ending the war and releasing the hostages, Hezbollah in the north will also stop its ongoing attacks on Israel, and political solution should bring tens of thousands of Israeli refugees back to their homes. Israel's resilience cannot be measured only by the strength of its army, rather by the strength and resilience of its people. The events of October 7 greatly damaged Israel's sense of security and trust in the government and army as protectors of its citizens. Recent polls show that over 62% of the Israeli public believes that war must come to an end in return for a comprehensive hostage deal. The healing and restoration of this resilience must begin with the release and return of the hostages. Leaders must put political agendas aside and focus on the lives of the hostages as the most urgent matter at stake. The elimination of Hamas is important, but will take time and patience, and the leaders must focus on urgent. As we all know, as successful as the operation yesterday was for some, we have also, as recent as last week, heard of 4 hostages that were murdered in captivity.
And from you, our audience and friends, today, we ask, speak up. Many Americans are not aware that 45 American citizens were murdered on October 7th. 12 were taken hostage, 8 are still in captivity, 3 of them deceased, and 5 who are considered alive, amongst them Omer, our son. The United States is not just a mediator in a hostage release deal. It was and is still targeted by Iran proxies daily. Our son Omer is a New Yorker and an IDF soldier and a hero. He did the right thing and was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This could have been any one of your children. Omer, this situation is not normal, and we refuse to get used to it. We know you are alive. We know you are strong. We are not losing faith. We believe in you, in Am Yisrael, in our communities, and all the good people we learned to know during our fight for your release. They fight for you as you fought and are fighting for them. We will bring you home.
And I just want to mention a big thank you for the AJC organization. They've been an amazing partner for us and for all the other hostage families in our difficult journey. They held numerous meetings for us and helped us on the Hill, and will be forever grateful to the AJC. Thank you. I'm so excited.